Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. I would much rather be lucky than good any day of the week. About 11 years ago, and it pains me to say that, I've never had a story where I would start off about 11 years ago. How old am I that I have a story that goes 11 years ago? I had the opportunity to spend a week in Maui with 3 good friends of mine. Best week of my life. We did nothing and everything, if you could understand that. It was wonderful. So one day we get a brilliant idea to go kayaking. And 3 of us do. My friend Brian wasn't very active. He's still not very active and didn't go with us that day. But 3 of us rent kayaks. And we decided to go to kind of a remote location, and we're just going to pick it somewhere. We're going to drive the car and pick somewhere and cast off, as it were, and go somewhere with these kayaks. Pushing the envelope of excitement, as most young guys have the propensity to do. So there's 3 kayaks. There's sort of the kid-proof, doesn't go anywhere but will never ever tip over type kayak. There's the middle of the road one where it's kind of not a struggle, but it takes a little effort to get it going, but once it's going pretty good. And then there's the pro style, which they gave us, and you give this one swipe and you're way down the ocean, but you have to balance this thing so it doesn't like tip over. I mean, it's flipping over all the time. So instead of, once we cast off and we get into the ocean, we kind of could see that there's like groups of kayakers going that way. Not that we joined a group of kayaking, but it just happened to be there were people out that way, and it seemed to be where they were congregating. And instead of going right, we chose left to where nobody was. We kayak out maybe a mile, I'd say. Didn't take very long, but we end up in this sort of enclave, this inlet. And we had taken snorkels with us. And we decided to kind of put the kayaks on the shore and snorkel a little bit. But I got separated from the group a little bit. I got separated from the group, and my kayak was sort of drifting to these rocks where waves were crashing. So if you can imagine me just kind of looking over and noticing that they're just getting closer with every kind of wave. And I remember thinking, wow, I really don't want to be over there. And eventually I ended up over there. The other thing was that I got out of the kayak at that time, into the water. And the tide must have picked up at that moment, or, I just have really good luck or something, because all of a sudden I'm feeling my body being thrusted into the face of these giant rocks, out of my control, as if you can imagine me weightless. That's what I felt like. I had no control over any part of my body, and the ocean kind of just used me like a rag doll for a few moments there. And I remember thinking, wow, this could be it. I had those it was long enough for me to start thinking like that. And eventually, everything just kind of subsided. Only after I calmed down. It was kind of weird, because here I am just being hammered away. And then I said, all right, well, this is it. And then everything stopped. And that was it. And my dumb friends didn't see anything. I'm like, hey guys, did you see? Look at me, I'm torn up. No, man, we were over here. So eventually, we get to snorkeling, and I put on a snorkel, and I'm under the ocean, and there are all these fish, these brilliant colors, blues and golds, and every sort of shape of fish you can possibly imagine. It's beautiful. And we all kind of find this one cave-like structure, and I step on it, and there's a hole, kind of like a peephole that I'm looking at, and the head of this giant eel kind of turns to that peephole, like, "What are you doing on my house?" And I said, "Nothing." And I quickly got off his house. Nothing happened. We're done snorkeling. We're kayaking back to the cars. I get the pro-style kayak. That you kind of have to really be balanced and really know what you're doing. I'm clumsy. I'm accident prone. It's not going to happen. But I'm going really fast, and I'm enjoying it. Eventually, I do flip over. I'm in the water. I can't get back on. One of my friends taps me on the shoulder, when they catch up to me, and they're like, "Dude, get the other one." Okay. We end up back at the cars. There was only one car. Apparently, one of us got the bright idea of putting the keys to the car in the pro kayak. We were keyless. We did not have our keys. They were sitting on the bottom of the ocean. So my friend Sean stays with the car. Brian and I head down the road to the nearest hotel, which I cannot tell you how far this was. Luckily, in the airport, for some reason, we befriended a man and older couple, and we just kind of talked to them there, and hey, you have a great time in Maui, that type of thing. Who drives up but this couple in a car while we're walking picks us up. They have a cooler with an ice chest in their back seat. "Hey guys, are you hungry? You've been walking?" "Yeah." This is the days before cell phones. That's why we haven't called before. We're hiking to the hotel because there's a phone there. We end up getting to the hotel. We make our phone call. The rental company sends another copy of the keys. Everything's fine. We get back to the condo where we're staying. Wonderful. In the morning, we're making breakfast. Steak and eggs and Mai Tais, of course. Phone rings. The rental company says, "Come pick up your keys." Apparently, there was a scuba diver who just so happened to be scuba diving in that area, found the keys on the bottom of the ocean, read the tag, Enterprise rental car or whatever, turned them in, and they called us the next day, and we got our keys back. I would rather be lucky than good any day of the week, because it's those little interesting nuances of life, the happenstances, that make everything else so interesting. Madam Toastmaster.